What's up, YouTube? I'm Zikomo, and this is my YouTube channel where I feature creators and I like to talk to them about things that they've done and share information about business, because a lot of us are interested in becoming entrepreneurs. I know myself, I'm very interested in becoming an entrepreneur, and I feel like it definitely helps to talk to someone who's actually doing it. So today I have a very special guest, very special guest. She's a two-time Grammy winner with the group Arrested Development, a multi-platinum selling group. And we're going to sit here, we're going to talk about her artist development. And she does a lot of different things outside of artist development. But I just wanted to let her know that it is an honor to sit here with you and, you know, pick your brain a little bit. So before we get into everything, I just want everyone to hear a little bit about your background and how you actually became a member of Arrested Development.
Oh my God! Well, first of all, thank you for having me on your show.
No problem.
I'm so excited, and thank you for just coming out to the victory spot. Here. How I got in Arrested Development? Okay, I'm gonna give you a condensed version.
All right.
I was 13 years old, and I was asked to audition for them, and my sister had the opportunity first.
Okay.
And a gentleman by the name of Ian Burke, he was managing the group at the time, or trying to find the management. Let's say that. This is back in the 80s. Okay.
Wow.
Right. You're like, wow. And so my sister got offered the opportunity, but she was like, she didn't want to do it because she was like, I don't do African dance.
Okay.
So she said, let my little sister do it. And so I went and auditioned. I was so scared. I remember what I had on and everything.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. That's when I don't know if are you familiar with Kwame?
Yes.
Okay, so he was polka dots. That was huge back during that time. So I had on this yellow and white polka dot turtleneck.
Well, hold on one second. But for those who don't know who Kwame is, because you kind of...
Oh my God. Kwame is an amazing artist. He's a producer. Writer, but back in the day, he was the man in hip hop. He was real fashionable. He had polka dots and all kinds of stuff. So, and that was his signature, the polka dots. And I remember I had this short haircut. My hair was kind of like a different color, or a blondish color or something. Had a yellow white polka dot and these big hammer pants.
Wow.
Black hammer pants with some patent leather shoes.
Wow.
And so Speech and the other founder of the group, Headliner, they went to Arts Institute. So they were in college and they were all Afrocentric, and I'm coming in with my polka dots. And so I danced for them in a room like this. And they were just looking at me, okay. They really liked my energy. I think Speech thought I was a little too young, but they welcomed me in with open arms. And so that was quite interesting, because they were in college and I was in middle school. So, I mean, mindset, everything, just on the whole, big gap, So, but it was, I really feel like it was divine, because it worked out some kind of weird way. And we started performing around Atlanta doing when I say holes in the walls, hole in the wall clubs, anywhere, street corners, wherever we could perform, we did it, and it was like a celebration. So it was really fun, and so the rest is history. So when we came out, let me see, I was 16, 17 years old when we came out, and so all of us were really young. They were in their early 20s, but it was like, wow, and all of it started from my passion for dance. That's it, period. If I couldn't do the African dance, I would have never gotten the opportunity to audition for them. So I have to thank my mother for that.
Wow.
Totally.
Wow. Well, one of the things that I can just say about Arrested Development, one of the things that you guys did, which was very unique at the time, is that the music that you created, it wasn't just for a specific generation. I know for me, growing up around that time, I was really young, but I know my friends were listening to it, and of course my parents were listening to it. So it was some music that everyone could enjoy, that had something for the soul, that we could all appreciate that. So
I totally agree. Totally agree. Yeah, I think that just conceptually, even the group, Speech was the visionary of it and the brainchild of Arrested Development, and you know, Headliner and Speech, they collabed on a lot of things together and came together. But even if you look at the group, the members, it was a representation of somebody in the black community, or somebody you could relate to. Oh, she reminds me of my cousin, or he reminds me of my grandpa, or you know what I mean? It was that whole type of thing. So I think that's why it resonated so much with people, because they, you know, people could relate. They saw themselves in us. So even today, you know, I go places and, you know, especially when my hair is short like this. Wait a minute, don't I know you? And they remember me from the group. And I think that's really special. And just to hear you say that the music crossed, you know, not only ethnic backgrounds, but age, you know, it's timeless. And I know I still jam to people every day myself now, you know. Too. So and that song, and it's crazy, the version that you guys hear wasn't the original version. Wow. So I mean, those songs, I remember us working on those songs back in the 80s, trying to get our show tight, you know, in Speech and Headliner's little apartment, you know, probably driving the neighbors crazy, but trying to get that show tight with those songs. And we just stuck to what we believed in, and look where we are now. Here we are, years later.
I know. I think everyone knows about Everyday People.
Yes. That's my joint, you know. When you hear that, you're like, oh, you know, it's like a family reunion. It just gives you that vibe. You feel good. You get happy all of a sudden, right?
And then on top of that, just the subject matter that you guys talked about. I remember he was talking about him wearing his dashiki and people weren't getting it. And the reason why I'm able to identify with that is because of where I grew up. I grew up, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Weston area, but in that area,
totally.
You know, it was very cultural. You know, a lot of things were kind of going on around that time. So, you know, so I definitely could understand, you know, where he was coming from. And so I definitely appreciate what you guys did.
Thank you.
The work that you all have created.
Thank you so much.
Was very much needed for the music industry, and I feel like you have like changed the culture, you know.
I definitely feel like Arrested Development as a group, it was bigger than the group members. It's always been bigger than us, I believe, you know. The music speaks for itself, you know, and to be able to look back and say, man, I was a part of that, or God, you know, it makes you proud, because you want to always be a part of something that's life-changing, at least for me.
You
know,
in a positive way.
In a positive way. And that's going to, I mean, I've had beautiful sisters come up to me, you were the reason why I cut my hair. And I was like, really? You know? And you just never know how you influence people with your energy, with your, just the essence of who you are. So, and it's amazing how everything has come full circle. I'm at the Victory Spot here in Fayetteville, Georgia, and this is Speech's art school. And so now we're giving back to kids. I've taught children for a long time. Oh my God, I taught my first class. Now, since you grew up in the West End, I know you know about this Bankhead Court. Okay, so isn't that where T.I.'s from? Or okay, he's from so he's Bankhead, right? I taught my first class when I was 14 years old, my first dance class. And I thought I was doing it. I made $50. I was like, yes. And I was teaching 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. And I taught them ballet and tap. And, you know, my mom, you were speaking about entrepreneurship. And I grew up in a household where my mom, you know, my dad very straight-laced, 9 to 5. My mom was my mom's deceased now, but dreamer, a person that really, a visionary, followed her dreams, a woman of the arts. So she loved kids, she loved dancing, all of that, music. And so I just would see her do it, and how she would change people's lives by just operating in her passion. And I mean, the kids would just, you just see it on their face, they'll change. And her students would stay with her from baby all the way up to 18 years old, and sometime beyond. And then they will come in and say, well, Miss Gaither, if you need any help, you know, I want to help you. And I'm like, wow, when you have people that stay with you that long, that means you have really touched and impacted their lives. And so I always admired my mom for that. I was like, man, the way you touch people. And so I taught my first class, and I saw how the little kids lit up. And I think I got bit by the bug there.
Yeah.
And so I've always liked teaching. I've always liked training people to, and just helping people reach their best self, you know, get to that level I know they can get to, you know, because we all have that level. We all have it. You know, it's just a matter of we tap into it or not. And I believe that just finding your passion and walking in it, like right here, I'm still in music. I'm still doing what I love to do, but it's just in a different capacity, along with my music and all the other things that I still do.
Yeah.
But we got to keep giving back, because if we don't, how's our legacy going to live on?
Yeah.
You know, we lose it. So I'm just grateful that Speech decided to do this art school, and he called me and asked me to come and teach, and I was like, yeah.
Wow. So you have been teaching when it comes to music and arts since you were 14 years old. Wow, at 14 years old, you're already a kid,
Right.
but you've been teaching for that long. That definitely qualifies you to know exactly what you're talking about, especially with the success that you've gotten with the group, but just from that young age. So you were inspired by your mother?
Yes, totally, completely.
She put you on this path. So what are some of the things that you focus on when you are working with an artist? If they say, I want to go to the next level, this is my goal, like what are the things that you help them with?
That's a great question, by the way. When I do artist development, I first and foremost, for me, it's not about just, get on the stage, sing, get before the people. I like to know, who are you? Like, who are you at the core of everything? Who are you? Tell me all about you. So I get to that first, and then I find out, what is your goal? What is your vision? Not my vision, but what is your vision? Because I'm trying to help you get to where you want to be. So for me, it's very important that I connect with a person on a spiritual level, because I don't just work with anybody. So, and I'm not saying that in a sense of arrogance. What I'm saying is that it's all about energy.
Yeah.
And good spirits and good vibes. So if an artist comes to me and I know for a fact they're somebody who I probably couldn't bring the best out because they're not just in that space in this moment, I will pass on it until maybe a later time, or if it comes back around. And it's funny, because all the people that come to me, I really feel like it's divine. Because when they come, it's not forced. We work together, because I believe that everybody I work with is a reciprocal effect.
Yeah.
They get something from me, I get something from them. And a lot of times, for me, when I work with new artists, it takes me back to the time when I first started. So sometimes when I even need that inspiration to keep going. And I'm a very positive, bubbly person.
I can tell.
But life, it can be tough sometimes. So when I see that hunger in new artists, it makes me say, wow, you know what I mean? And I get to the core of who they are, what do they want to do. I work on interviewing skills. I work on them being comfortable in their own skin, confidence. I work on the vocals. I work on their physicality, endurance. I work on their enunciation. I work on their songs, lyrics, and just speaking. I teach them how to work a room.
Wow.
Because you have to know how to do those things. In this business, you have to be sociable.
Yeah.
You can't be antisocial. It's hard. You can't do that in this business. That's a very difficult task. Some people have achieved it, Prince being one of them. But, I'm sure he's had to talk to some folks he probably didn't want to in his time. You know what I mean? And a lot of artists don't understand that, yes, your image, if your name is Miss Sunshine, everything from your social media to your outfit to your look should exude sunshine. Everything about you. So if you're sunshine and you're always gloomy, that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because people connect to the spirit of a person, I believe, because that's all we are. This is just a shell.
Mm-hmm.
We're all energy, spirit. So, I think when people connect to that spirit, that's when they say, "Oh man, okay, I feel this person," and they will follow you through the ups and the downs, the valleys, your journey. You know, if you decide not to do music anymore, they're gonna still support you, or whatever you decide as an artist. And I also when I work with artists, I try to teach them that it's bigger than music. So, what's your platform? Do you believe in breast cancer? What do you want to stand for? Do you believe in, mental illness? What is it? Have a platform so that what you do is not just about you getting on stage and performing and making money. And there's nothing wrong, because you need to be paid for your work. However, it's bigger than music. What happens one day if you lose your voice? God forbid. Because things that you never think will happen sometimes happen. You know what I mean? What if you can't get on stage and perform because you hurt your leg?
Yeah.
Then what you gonna do? So I try to teach these young artists, and artists in general, don't stop here. It's all about evolution, because I'm totally not the person I was when I first got the rest of them. Of course, I was a child, but through the years and through a lot of adversity, I was like, wow, I can do this. I can do that. I didn't even know I could do this. You find out who you are.
Yeah.
And you just keep discovering more. And so I just want to teach a lot of the young artists today that sometimes it doesn't happen overnight, even when it looked like it does. It's a whole lot of work that went into it before you even got there.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't on a grand stage. That means you got to eat right, you got to sleep properly, you got to exercise this, because this is your money maker. You have to protect it. You have to watch. You have to know what your brand is. If you don't know who you are, they will tell you. Other people will tell you. And you got to know who you are coming into this business.
Yeah.
So, like I said, overall, I do a lot of things. So it's not like, one session. I usually do months at a time, and sometimes I do years with people.
Wow.
Yeah, I stay with them on their journey.
Wow. So, with you being a part of Arrested Development, being a superstar group, what do you think it takes, or what are some of the characteristics that you've noticed that it takes to become a superstar?
Well, one thing I would definitely say is be yourself. You have to be yourself, because if you're faking the funk, the real you're gonna come out anyway.
Yeah.
And so you got to be yourself and believe. Put music out that you believe in. Like, if you don't believe in it, don't do it just for a buck, because it's going to be like, oh, yeah, it was hot for a second, and then it's not hot anymore. Like you said earlier about Arrested Development music, you want music that 50 years from now, you still can turn it on. Like Lauryn Hill's album, classic, Miseducation, Lauryn Hill. That record, you can put it on right now, and it sounds just as fresh as the music that's out, in my opinion, today.
Yeah, in my opinion too.
And compete with it. So, and I think that's where the era I came from, people were more about making projects instead of singles. And it was like, okay, let's get together, let's create a project. Not just, let's get a hot single. And we believed in making music that would change the world. Wow. You know what I mean? And not saying that it's artists out now that don't do that, but you do see a very, a high volume of music that's just like trendy for the moment, and then you don't hear it anymore. And if that's your goal now, that's a great thing. But if you want longevity, you have to think on a bigger scale. You have to say, okay, I may take an L right now, but later on down the line, it's going to benefit me. So, for me, I think that's just really important, actually making products and projects that you can be proud of, and 20 years from now, it still rides, you know. But, unfortunately, I think we dropped the ball, our generation, because, and that's another reason why I do artist development. It's just like in basketball, I think, or football for that matter, anything, any type of thing. I think that when newcomers come in, the old heads need to come and get the younger generation and school them. You know what I mean? Say, this what you needed. Don't do that. Try this, but
Yeah.
don't go down that way. And that's what I try to do. I try to school people. Like, you know, everybody has their own journey. I can't tell you what your journey gonna be, you know, whatever, because sometimes your journey is just gonna be what it is, no matter what someone's tell you. Because I feel like God, the Creator, is bringing something out of you. It's something you need to learn, but it's some roads you don't have to go down if you just listen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think we gotta, the generation, you know, before us, we gotta go back and say, you know what, pull a young kid to the side and say, let me tell you about this, let's try this, you know. And I sit and I love talking to young artists, because I hear, I'm like, oh, that's what's going on now, okay, you know, they hipping me on what's going on, you know, in you guys' era and younger. So I appreciate it, you know. It's very rewarding for me, and I love keeping relationships with my artist development clients, because beyond that, we become friends. We become family, you know, because I'm in your space. I'm getting to know you. We cry, you know, they lose somebody in their family or having a hardship. We talk about all that, because that's part of the art.
Yeah.
Being who you are, you have to be transparent, you know, that, and that's just real. I love transparent people, because you know where they're coming from. You don't have to figure it out.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, that's definitely, you dropped quite a few gems there in what you said. So in terms of like, you know, you went over artist development, and it sounds like with you talked about mentoring.
Yes.
You talked about not only
mentoring.
developing vocally, but dancing, just the whole package. So today, what I've kind of noticed is that a lot of artists, they're just putting music out there. You know, some of them aren't really going or starting off in the commercial, on the commercial route. They're trying to do the independent route. So how does the services that you provide, can they be used by someone who's independent?
Oh,
or is
yes,
it, you know,
definitely.
Okay.
A lot of my clients are independent artists.
Okay.
And I love working with independent artists, because a lot of times they're their own boss, so to speak, so they have their own design and they have their own vision, versus a lot of artists on major labels, unless they go in with a vision, the label is telling you, you know, how they want this particular artist to be, and that may not be exactly what that artist wants, you know what I mean? The label
creates a brand.
Yeah, and that happens a lot, where in the past it did, and even sometimes, I'm sure now, it still happens, but now the whole, I guess, brand of a label, how it was done back when we came out, is totally different now. You would work hard to get a record deal, and that was it. Now you have the internet. The internet wasn't around like that for us. You know, we didn't have, you know, what, MySpace was the first big thing. We didn't have Facebook, you know, Twitter, Instagram. We didn't have any of that. So ours truly was word of mouth. You getting out there hustling, grinding, talent shows, showcases. You know, they do those now, but they're very rare. You don't hear about them as much like you did in the past, because unfortunately, I think that the social media is a blessing, and a curse is a lot of people feel like, okay, if I get a dope video or a couple of hits on YouTube, then I'm a star, or you know, I made it, and that's not so, because you may have a hot song, but if you cannot get on stage and perform it, that's a problem. So a lot of the young artists now, they don't know what it takes to maintain the level of energy that you have on record and translate that to live, because that's two totally different things. Some people can really record in the studio and they can't perform live, and then vice versa, and then some people are well at both. You know, do well at both. But I think that, like a lot of the younger artists I'm seeing now, even the rappers, they rap over their tracks. They didn't do that when I was coming up. You had to go raw, your voice over a DJ's beat or the beat of your record. You know what I mean? And see, I feel like a lot of artists now, and just to me, just the entertainment business as a whole, we have been handicapped, because you have auto-tune and all these things that could fix it and tweak it. And I'm not saying those things aren't good and appropriate when needed, you know what I mean? But I think when you solely depend on that, that's a problem. So I think that I tell my artist development clients, I say, take a little bit of old and take a little bit of new and mix it together. So take the work ethic of a Temptations, of a Jackson 5.
Yeah.
You know, that type of energy, their work ethic where you had to get on stage where it was just straight up mic and your voice and that was it.
Wow.
You know,
I don't know if we would be able to go back there.
You know, but
That's
it's a lot of
talent.
Pure talent.
Yeah.
And I mean, just like I remember one time we did a show, I don't know where we were, overseas somewhere. And it was, I mean, like, I'm talking about thousands and thousands of people. And the sound just went out. Like, I mean, the whole electricity, the whole building just went out.
Wow.
And we were standing there, and I said, you know what? I said, I'm finna take it back to church. Everybody, y'all gonna be the percussion section. Come on. And I had everybody start clapping. And the whole crowd started doing it. And we finished the song. And then after a while, everything came back on. But if that happens, and you're an artist that has not been trained that way, what you gonna do? You're gonna, oh Lord, the sound is out. What am I doing? You gotta know how to do that. You have to know how, if anybody throws crazy questions at you, if anybody comes, I mean, back in the day, people would pull plugs. You know, you'll be performing on stage, they would literally pull your plug and your whole sound will go out because they might not have liked you. That happened to us too. You know, when we first started out, you know, because we were so different in the hip hop industry and the rap game, they were pull out. We did a show on the West Coast and we were performing somewhere and somebody from somebody's camp, and they came and unplugged our whole system. But because we were musicians, we had a drummer, he just was like, and we finished the whole set. And so a lot of times, if you don't know and things like that come up and that is thrown at you, you're like, oh, you panic. And so a lot of the artists now, they don't know because they haven't been taught. You know what I mean? And again, I have to attribute everything to my mom because my mom owned a dance school for over 35 years. And I remember one of the lessons she gave me. She said, if you're going to do something, do it 150%. She said, whatever you do in life, she said, always take it to the next level. And that just stuck with me. I mean, so it was like that. She planted that seed in me, so I go hard in everything I do. Everything. You know, if I'm not going to give it my all, I just don't do it. And I'm not a person that I believe in excellence. I really do. You know, and I push my clients to be excellent in their own space. You know, I know none of us are perfect. We can never be perfect. But if you can get close to being the most elevated, you know, self you can be, that's a good thing. And once you reach that, it's going to be another level. You got to keep going. So you never really stop. You just keep, as you keep living, you keep growing. You know, so that's important for me because we have been given so much false information. You know, I mean, oh my God, we've been brainwashed on so many levels. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, we have. All right, so one of the things that I really appreciate about Arrested Development is how you guys were able to maintain the integrity of the brand. I didn't really see you guys change up the image, change up the messaging. It was all very consistent. So I want you to speak a little bit towards that, and also is that a service that you provide with your artist development?
Yes, totally. Great questions, by the way. Once again.
Thank you.
You are welcome. I do provide that service for my artist development clients if they want that.
Okay.
So some people will say, I just want choreography. Then some people will say, I want media training, choreography, the working out element, the vocal element. They want all of it. Then that's when I really go in. And I give my all to all my clients, whatever they ask for me. Some people come in with their own brand already, and then some people don't know their brand, and then I can also consult with them and help them on that. I think that's important too. When I work with artists, it's very important so that I know the proper way into guiding them because I know their brand. You know what I mean? So if you're earthy, then let's go in that place. But if you're more glamorous, then let's go in that place. So your choreography, your stage presence, all that has to do with all of that. Dancers, everything, all the elements that you would add to a person's show. You know, and all those things. So, and as far as Arrested Development, I think that in a lot of aspect. We were just being ourselves. And it was times that we tried different things to evolve from where we were already are, where we started, I should say. But at the core of everything, we still kept it very Afro-centered. You know what I mean? So our hairstyles, like you saw speech today, everybody's still, you know, in a place. And it's interesting how I remember when I joined Arrested Development, I literally cut all my hair off. And I was like, I remember getting a nose ring, and I was 13. I said, Mom, can I get a nose ring? She was like, no, you can't pierce your nose. I said, but Mom, I want to be cool like the group members. You know, I want to be like everybody else. And she was like, okay. Now, if it's not cute, you're going to have to take it out. Wow. And so she let me get it in, and I was like, wow. And she was like, okay, I like it. And so then I just started cutting my hair, and I just really, really became what you saw, you know, this whole, I mean, like, representing this woman from our community, and so many people connected with it. And I was like, wow, you just never know. And so even now, you know, it was funny. I let my hair grow sometimes, and I cut it off, and I color it. I do all kinds of stuff too. I shaved it off recently again. I'm trying to keep from shaving it. Thank you, all the way off. So and it's just funny because now when people see me, like I was telling you earlier, like, oh my God, you're the girl from Arrested Development, you know, and it just takes me back again. Every time I hear that to when I first started. So yeah, branding is very important. And that's why I said your social media, everything has to be across the board the same thing, you know. So look at the big companies out here, Chick-fil-A. You see the ads they do, brilliant. You see the cows, you know. Every time I think of Chick-fil-A, I think of cows. You know? You know, I see cows, I think of Chick-fil-A.
They branded, they have branded us to do that.
Right. So it's very important that you know what you want to sell people, because you are a product, you know, in the consumer's eyes. You know, you are individual, but you are product, you know. Okay, so if you go in the store and you see something crumpled up and something that looks shiny, you're probably going to more than likely go to the one that's not crumpled up or not busted looking.
I mean, we do it all the time when we go to the grocery store. Like, if we see a package that's kind of, you know, beat in or whatever.
Like it's torn up.
We go and push out away and get the fresh one in the back. You know?
And it's the same thing with your music or whatever you want to do as an entrepreneur. Always present your best stuff first. And we're all growing. I'm still growing and learning, because me being an independent artist myself, it's a whole new era, a whole new thing. So the way things used to be done back in the day are a little different now. Some of the people that were in positions back in the day are not even in the industry anymore at all. So you have to learn new people in the new way, but also never lose that sight of who you are, what you've developed over the years. And it's okay to get insight from other people sometimes, to say, have you ever tried this, or did you think about it? Okay, you know, and make whatever you have better. So it's important. Branding, gotta have branding. It's a must.
Well, Eshe, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today.
Thank you so much.
I hope, I know I've gotten some good information.
Cool, yes.
And I hope that the viewers, they also got, you know, found some gems and the things that you were saying. But what I want everyone to know is, how can people contact you if they want to be a part of, whether it be your personal movement or they want to become one of your artists that you can train and develop and mentor? How do they find you? Okay, well, you can find me at www.eshe, Afrosoul, AFROSOUL.com, Eshe Afro Soul. That is my website, and it has all the links to my social media. Okay, right now I'm actually revamping my whole site. As you were talking about branding, I'm constantly, when I evolve and when I put new stuff out, I love everything to be consistent, cohesive, right across the board. So I definitely would love for you guys to stop by. I do get the messages. My management team gets the messages. Also, if you're looking to get artist development, you can reach me at teameshe@gmail.com, TEAMESHE@gmail.com. Yeah. All right. Okay. And also, if you guys didn't catch all of that, I will be providing all her contact information in the link below, in the caption below, so you can go and get it. And you know, just in closing out, like I said before, I really appreciate the time.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Know, she was actually developing one of her students who was on track to be a part of Broadway. So she stopped. Well, she finished her class, came up here, spoke with me. So I'm pretty sure she might be a little bit tired. But
it's all good. I just appreciate you taking your time, and I just want to shout out the Victory Spot. This is Speech and Yolanda Thomas. This is their school, and I am one of the instructors here. I teach dance, and I have also had the opportunity to do vocal performance with people. So that's part of what I do with the artist development, of teaching people how to perform live and really bring the movement aspect to what they're doing. So I've had fun doing it. I love working with kids, and I also work with other programs outside of here, and I do private lessons, I do workshops, dance workshops, I do speaking engagements, I do panels, all of that, consulting. So I'm just, arts is my life, you know. I eat, sleep, and drink it. So. But I thank you guys for just tuning in and listening to what I had to say, and I hope you got something out of it. I truly do.
All right, and if you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and share. So until next time, I'll see you later.
Peace and love.